controlling the line of scrimmage. We talk about running the football and stopping the run. Well, in the game on Saturday, I think we rushed for 101 yards, but when you take away the sacks, we finished with 39. And some of that is due to the nature of us being behind and having to pass the ball with the deficit that we were in. So we didn't handle the line of scrimmage, obviously gave up 6 sacks. That affected the outcome of the game tremendously. We did hold them to, I think, 67 yards rushing or something like that, so I thought we played pretty good against the run there. The next couple keys to victory are protect the football and take the ball away. We did have 3 takeaways on the day, really at some critical times that gave us an opportunity to get back into the game. But as we all saw, certainly we had 5 of our own where we turned the ball over, and really, 1's too many, but 5's almost insurmountable. So that obviously affected the outcome. And then we talk about playing elite special teams, and where we've been tremendous all year in that. That was probably, if there was an area where we were most consistent, it was probably in special teams, but we did have a low snap, which caused our first real kind of bad punt of the year, which affected field position. But at the end of the day, like it's all those things build up to, it's on me to make sure that we are physically, right, mentally and emotionally ready to play on game day, and I thought we came out a little bit flat. So, we've taken a look. We don't want to, want to reinvent the wheel when you've still had a tremendous amount of success because you had one poor day. You hope it's more of an anomaly than something that's consistent. I think the thing, even with as poorly as we played in pockets of that game, the thing I'm most encouraged by is that there's a lot of teams that would have shut it down, and that thing could have gotten way, way out of hand. And, we challenged our kids at halftime that, hey, they get the ball. The first thing we got to do is we got to cover the heck out of the kickoff. And then we got to get a stop, and then we got to score some points. And you saw us doing that thing. We talk about playing just one play at a time, and we start to chip away on it. And then as slow as we started, we kind of finished in the same demeanor. So, where we played really well in the third quarter, it's just not enough in the SoCon. It's not enough against a good Samford team. And again, all that falls back on me and making sure that we're ready to play and that we're putting the players in the best position to execute and excel on Saturdays. So, obviously we'll be hypercritical of all the things that we're doing, both the things that lead up to the game and then as well as our execution on game day. Again, I thought we challenged the kids to just play by play in the second half, and I thought we did that. There wasn't a bunch of finger pointing. They really responded. So when we look at it, the other thing I'm encouraged by is that very few of the things that cost us were effort related, right? Like there's a bunch of technical things that need to be cleaned up, and we'll do that through how we coach and how we work this week and what we drill in practice, right? Kirby Smart said the other day, right? Like habits are everything, and the only place that you get to work on your habits throughout the course of the week is during practice, and we must have championship habits because they precede championships. And so all those things leading up to the game, our practice habits, in turn to our execution on Saturday, and then again just the mental and emotional readiness that we need to play with. And we'll get all that stuff squared away because we know what's on the line. The beauty of this is it's not a fatal flaw, right? Everything is still in front of us that we talk and work for as a team. We got a huge game coming up this weekend against Western Carolina right here in 5-star. We need everybody in daggone Macon there. We need all the students, all the fans. It's going to be 80 degrees and sunny, and we need that thing packed out and as loud as it can be on game day this week. And so I can promise you we'll put a much better product on the field and our guys. Like there's no one that's more frustrated or embarrassed on how we executed and played on Saturday than the people in this building and the players, because those guys care. They got a high level of care, and they're chomping at the bit to get to practice tomorrow. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, I know you talked about in your opening statement, it's been a traditional season, next one mentality, but when you go down 28 before the first half, the first quarter, what do you...
4 minutes. I mean, four minutes into it, and I think that's the thing is like you can't lose your mind. Like there's still 50+ minutes of football to play. Now, you put yourself in a bad spot and you get out of your game plan, right? Like, you usually script your openers of a game and you're out of it immediately almost because you turned the ball over twice in the first 2 minutes. And not only was it just the turnovers, any one of those may have been being able to be overcome, but to do it about 4 series in a row, and not only do it where it affects who had possession, but it affected the field position. And I think that's, that really puts behind the 8 ball on Saturday.
I know know just a couple other things as well, some smaller ones, like fewer penalties, 5 for 5 in the red zone. What were some other smaller wins that you saw?
Yeah, again, really the things that aren't quantified in the stat line is just the response from the players at halftime. Like there wasn't a bunch of moping. There was like, all right, we got ourselves in this position. How do we dig ourselves out of this hole now that we put ourselves in? And I think that kind of the fact that they stuck together, the fact that there wasn't like this, overly emotional response to it where we were pointing fingers. I think those lead with, like you said, the 5 of 5 in the red zone. We trimmed the penalties in half again, and there's moments of that game where we play extremely good football. There wasn't enough of them on Saturday.
You just talked about it a little bit before, and always hindsight is 20/20. But one of the lessons you can learn from this loss going into the home stretch of the schedule.
That again, I mean, we talk about it a bunch, but we have to be prepared every week. Like I know we didn't take Samford for granted, but again, our weekly habits. I don't know as I reflect on practice if we had our best week. Right, and I think that it just goes back to, it starts with the look that we get from the scout teams. It starts with our own players' effort. It starts with their attentiveness during those periods, and again, it just leads up to it. I think we do a pretty good job traveling. Again, I can't say enough about our administration and how we do travel and how first class it is. And I didn't sense anything was way off, but again, we showed up and we got behind early, and we just got to build ourselves out of that.
Well, you see anything from, we just talked about the quarterback, obviously, from Western Carolina. You see anything on film from them that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, without being a smart aleck like the quarterback, I mean, the kid threw for all the yards last weekend, 620 yards of offense. I think the thing that, from a film, like, I think his accuracy is maybe the most impressive thing. Like, not only is he getting the ball out quick, but he's making good decisions. He's putting in places where his guys can do it. And then, he's a coach's kid, so he's got a little bit of that mental toughness where if he does have a bad throw or he does miss, he's right back at it, and he's going to keep gunslinging. They're going to keep throwing the football, and I think they have more than capable skill players. I think that's the thing. Like, the Furman game was 17-6 at halftime. It was still a much contested game, and I think even going into the fourth, it was 24-6. But those guys are throwing the ball down the field, and they're not going to waste an opportunity to try to make a big play. And they got guys that can go the distance, really at all the skill positions. I think their tight end's a good football player. So when they protect the quarterback and he's got time, you're in trouble. And so that's the thing. We got to find ways to be disruptive and do the things that get him off schedule and get them off schedule as an offense.
Coach, you were talking about how at half the kids were saying basically like we dug ourselves into this hole. What was your message to them?
Yeah, same thing. That, like, there's still 30 minutes of football, right? Like, there's 30 minutes of football, and we're a much better team than we had put on film in that first half, and we have guys that are capable of making plays. We know our defense can get stops, and really, we gave up the 2 turnovers for touchdowns in the second half, but I don't think they scored offensive points, and so there was enough to lean on and build on. It was just a little bit too little, too late at that point.
How do you feel with Newgarden played in relief in the second half?
Whit's been good, right? I thought you saw him do a couple really good things, right? Like, one, he obviously threw the ball pretty well with the exception of the one interception. But I thought he made pretty good decisions other than that one play. I thought you saw him, he delivered the ball and took a few shots, right? Like, he's a big kid, so he didn't get rattled as a freshman. And then you saw him make a few plays scrambling to keep drives alive, to keep us, moving forward with still, a chance as we had cut that thing to 2 scores. So, again, he's got all the arm strength in the world as long as he knows where he's going with the football. Looking forward to his continued growth and development.
Offensively, what do you want to see from your team this week?
We got to protect the football, right? Like, I want to see us stay on schedule. And what does that mean? That means you have to be more efficient. We got to be better on first down. I think we were 7-16 on third downs, which anything over 40% is pretty good on the day. I think as we talked about things that were positives, that is a huge positive. But we just have to be more consistent. We have to play better up front. It starts up front. Like, nothing makes me more infuriating than me as an offensive line guy feeling like that piece needs to be significantly better. We can't have the sacks. We can't have the negative run plays. We need to stay on schedule so we're not third in a million every time that we have an opportunity, and that helps the quarterbacks, make better decisions that way.
How big is this game in the conference? Because you've got a cluster of teams with one loss. It's really
Yeah, they're all big. This one's going to separate a bunch, right? Like, I think you got to look back, other than maybe the COVID year, it's been, 8, 9, 10 seasons that there hasn't been an undefeated champion in the conference. And so, every week's a battle in the SoCon, and this is a huge game. They're 4-3 overall, but they're 3-0 in the conference, and we will be tested, but that's what we want. It's 2 top 25 teams playing a huge game at the end of October, going into what is a stretch run. So, we welcome the challenge. We're looking forward to it.
Anything else, Coach Jacobs?
Good. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Coach, you mentioned battle top 25 teams. The newest rankings stats: Mercer 14th, Western Carolina 24th, going into play this week. All right, Keelan Parsons is going to join us, our wide receiver from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Came to us by way of Lenore Ryan. Keelan, a little opening statement of how you feel the offense is playing.
Good afternoon. How are y'all? So obviously, things didn't go as planned. As a whole team, we kind of dug a hole, and that was a good football team we played against. They played good defense, so it was hard to dig ourselves out of the hole. But I think we definitely still showed the world in the second half of the game who we are as a team, because that team in the first half wasn't us. It's a whole unit. And I feel like with the way they played and the way they game planned it good. They did. But I think in the second half we proved that we can fight against adversity and we can overcome anything. I think that honestly, us as a team, the way we played in the second half, I think that's a national competing team. Like, put up points in a hurry, get stops whenever we need them. I feel like if we played like that the whole game, we come out on top. But obviously we dug a hole, and it is hard to dig out of a hole. But we did what we could. We're going to get back at it in practice and prepare for this week.
Keelan, you had 2 different quarterbacks thrown to you in the game. What's that like to kind of switch from working with one quarterback to another in the middle of a game situation?
I mean, so it's no different than practice. Every week we'll go in and out rotating the quarterback. So, you got to get used to everybody because you never know what's going to happen. But, I mean, I don't really see a difference in whoever the quarterback is. We're going to make plays regardless. There's no excuse, for someone getting hurt.
Being the first loss on the season, and as a senior, you step up as a vocal leader in the locker room. What do you say to the other guys that, obviously it hasn't been a loss this season, but how do you become a vocal leader now, especially after showing adversity and resilience at the end of that game?
You just we've been here. Like last year, obviously at Lenore Ryan, we had our loss to Wingate during the middle of the season. We've been here, and we just gotta act and show that we've been here by, being a vocal leader in the locker room, letting the guys know, like, just because we lost one game doesn't mean the season is over. We're going to get back at it, and we're going to crack down. We're going to be harder than usual, because, like, I don't see there being any reason for us to just give up on the season all over one loss. We're still, I feel, a championship-worthy team, a top contending team. So I don't think there should be any reason to just give up on the dream and the goals that we have, which is to win the SoCon and go further.
Keelan, compare the styles of the 2 quarterbacks that you've seen, or well, actually you've seen 3, but compare the styles of DJ and Witt fitted on Saturday, and sort of how the growth of what you've seen in the growth of both.
Me being here for the short time I have been here, I feel like they're both great quarterbacks. They obviously play a little different. They have a little bit different play style. I like that Witt is adding the run part to his game, and it's improving him as a player. I think that he's grown a lot since he's first gotten here. You know, him being a young kid, he's starting to mature early. And then DJ, he's doing good too. He's adjusting his game every week, you know, getting better at the run and the pass. We're just going to keep game planning for them to make plays regardless of who's at quarterback. We're going to stay behind them, and we're going to ride them all the way regardless. And I'm going to stay on them as a teammate and a team leader.
100-yard receiving game for you on Saturday. How did it do?
I mean, in all honesty, it didn't feel as good as I wanted it with us not coming out on top of that game, you know. Obviously, a 100-yard receiving game is a good game, but, like, you know, I would have been more happy if I would have had 5-10 yards and we would have won the game, you know. So.
The coach mentioned about getting back on the practice field after a disappointing loss, first loss of the season. From a player's perspective, what goes on in your mind about getting over that and you're anxious to get back on the field, you and your teammates? Tell us about the day or two before you can get back here and start again.
You know, like I said, most of us have been here before, and you know, it's just it's all about the hunger to keep fighting and get over that hump. You know, like we've been here and we've faced adversity before, so we're not going to treat it no different. We're just going to come out and, you know, better ourselves and prepare for the next week. That game's gone. It's flushed down the drain. Like, there's nothing you can do about it now. All you can do is prepare for the next one. The most important thing is the next one. So that's all I'm worried about is the next one and helping my teammates get over this hump who haven't been at this point in life before.
Okay, anything else for Keelan? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, looks like Chris just raised in the door. And again, this must be Winston-Salem Day. Most of our players today, natives of Winston-Salem. Chris Joins, wears number 14, junior. Chris, if you would come up, share with us how you think how the team's playing and how you're excited to be back on the field, especially here at Five Star Stadium this week.
So I think we've been playing pretty good thus far. Obviously, had a hiccup this past weekend, but like I said, like Keelan said, it's flushed down the drain. And as a team, I feel like we're definitely hungry to get back on the practice field and really just, of course, get back playing in front of a home crowd. But we're definitely hungry to get back at it.
You guys had 3 interceptions on Saturday, even though it was a loss. What does that mean for your defensive unit to still be aggressive even in a tough game?
It definitely, I mean, it still gives us confidence. Like I said, we're still confident we can create takeaways. We're still stopping the run. So, like I said, we didn't really get, like I said, too far off schedule. Obviously, too many points given up. But like I said, things we can correct, but also still things we are doing good. So, continue to build on the positives. And like I said, keep us confident.
How you plan to stop that aerial attack on Saturday?
Like I said, it was definitely on us in the back end, but we're definitely confident, like I said, at front 6 and especially the front 4 D line. So, I mean, obviously it starts with the pass rush, but then it definitely falls on us as DBs. Like I said, no explosive plays. Like I said, obviously, I mean, they're going to get things here and there, but definitely just keep everything in front of us. No explosive plays. And like I said, play together.
How important is it to get a pass rush against a guy like that? To keep him uncomfortable, is that a key?
I mean, it's very critical. Like I said, I mean, he's an experienced quarterback. I don't want to say this is his second year starting, but I want to say I played my freshman year. Like I said, he got some burn then too. So like I said, he's an experienced quarterback in this conference. So like I say, especially versus experienced quarterbacks, like I said, they know. I mean, they've seen almost every coverage like that, everything in the back end. So definitely just affecting them. Like I said, making sure we're doing things right on the back end. But like I said, affecting the quarterback is definitely very critical.
You like hitting people more or defending the pass more?
I would say hitting people for sure.
Why is that?
I don't know. Just a sense of pride, I would say. Really honest, I get more of a sense, like I said, hitting somebody rather than say covering somebody, just more of a sense of pride to me.
Okay, anything else for Chris? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, kick off again 3:30 this Saturday afternoon. As Coach already said, the weather forecast looks great. Should be a great day. We've got activities as usual all day long on campus, including the Ford Concert Series. Should be a great day. And again, great opportunity at home for the Bears to get back to doing what they do, and that's win football games. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Of course, lunch is now being served.
Thank you all. Coach, you gonna be a touchdown club tonight? I am. Okay. You might do a quick afterwards. Cool. Yeah, okay.
say.